Hey everybody, I read 10 books in the month of November. Let's talk about them. Hi, my name's Bea and welcome to my channel, Mama Needs to Read Romance. I would have done a better job of making my bed, but as you can see, I have two friends here, Buddy and Rudy, who have decided that they're exhausted. After so many days of people being sick in the house, this is the first day where it's just the three of us again, and they need to really live it up by sleeping on my bed. So this is as much as I could make the bed. I couldn't let one more minute pass without celebrating 4 new queen bees with you. Thank you for helping me support my family with this channel. Dana Nicole, thank you so much, Dana Nicole. Your subscription means the world to me. Wendy Fraser has also become a brand new queen bee. Thank you so much, Wendy. Roxy Ann 325 has rejoined us, as well as Roxana 15. My Roxy ladies, thank you so much for rejoining the hive. I'm so thrilled to bring you all the bonus content, such as members only videos, early access to all the goods, and more polls than you can shake a stick at. Yes, you will have plenty of say in my channel moving forward. It means more than words can say, and I can't wait to share all the fun with you. Let's go ahead and talk about those 10 books I read. I'm really lucky because pretty much all of these were a big hit except for one. We're going to talk about all of them right now. Here's my 6-star. This was a reread, Devil's Daughter by Lisa Kleypas. This is book 5 of the Ravenel series. Let's look at that step back as we talk about this incredible book. We have West Ravenel, who everyone just loves. He's self-effacing. He's a hard worker. We've seen his character grow so very much from the very beginning of the series. He is coming into his own and has fallen desperately for Phoebe, Lady Claire. She happens to be the daughter of Evie and Sebastian from the Wallflower series, and specifically the book Devil in Winter. This is her time to shine, and shine she does. As a single mom with 2 young boys, she's a widow. When her husband was a child, he was in boarding school with none other than West Ravenel, and West treated Phoebe's late husband very badly. So she has reason to hate this man, but she's finding it very hard to do so. As we mentioned in our live show, which I have linked above, the love scenes were on point. The ensemble cast was outstanding. There was humor. There were incredible moments where West was with her kids. Oh my gosh, so dear. And of course there was danger. I don't know what more you could want from an historical romance than this little book right here, but I highly recommend it. And if you can read the whole series, do that too. Makes it even better. This next book is one that I grabbed as an ARC on a whim, and I'm so thankful that I did. This is Undead and Unwed by Sam Shida. This came out pretty recently. It's perfect if you have a reading slump or you're sort of missing Halloween and also looking forward to the holidays, because this is about a woman who is a more than 300-year-old vampire, and it turns out that the identity that she stole, that person has been gifted a bed and breakfast in Vermont during the holidays. So our vampire, she's snarky but sweet, like in equal measure. She's very out of the box, very different. She wants to live a Hallmark movie life. So she decides to move to Vermont with a friend. That's a whole other thing. And tries to live her best, cozy, small town heroine life, but it's very hard to do when you're a vampire. Then her 700-year-old ex-husband comes to call as well, making things even more complicated. I loved how meta this was. Each chapter is named after a particular trope in romance novels. This was so funny to the point where I actually had to stop listening to the audio to make sure I didn't miss anything because I was laughing so hard. I ate this up. I had a fabulous time. It was so different. I've already grabbed her other arc that's coming out in January, so I'm looking forward to reading this. I think this author and I are going to jive very well. Another book I read for book club in the month of October that I gave 4.5 stars to, actually. This is The Autumn Bride by Anne Gracie. This is the first book of the Chance Sisters series. I'd read several other books in this series and enjoyed them, but this one is definitely, as Terry will tell you, you have to read this one first. The ensemble cast is fantastic. This was giving me feels of like Little Women or The Wallflowers again, to name that. Honestly, the romance sort of takes a back seat in my mind to the relationship between our heroines. The entire ensemble cast is so endearing and so fun. I had such a great time. The love scene, honestly, that's probably where I marked it down because it just felt sort of tacked on. It didn't feel like it needed to be there. There really wasn't all that much FaceTime time between our hero and our heroine. The book doesn't suffer for it. It really is a beautiful story, primarily of friendship with some romance thrown in. And one thing that I loved is the strength of character for our hero and our heroine. That was something I found very refreshing as well. Our hero is drawn to our heroine because of her integrity. And that was something that really resonated with me and something I feel like I don't see enough. It's full of humor. Let me give you a little bit about the plot for those of you that think you might be interested. This woman discovers that her sister and her sister's friend from school have been kidnapped and taken against their will to a brothel. Now, this sounds very heavy. It is not, because it's primarily off page. It's mainly referenced for those of you that would be concerned about trigger warnings, etc. I always get nervous, but even those of us that were nervous, I don't think any of us, correct me if I'm wrong, found this to be too heavy. Our heroine helps her sister and her peer escape, as well as Daisy, who used to work in the brothel and wanted to get out as well. Now we have 4 women that really don't have any place to go, any means for support, and so Abby decides that she's going to scale a building, find something to steal. Nobody's gotten bored. Now maybe I could finish making my bed if I felt like getting up. Anyway, I don't. Rudy's still sleeping. So Abby comes across an elderly woman who's very ill, and the two start an unlikely friendship, which becomes something that takes us through the rest of the story. It's so wonderful. This is one of the most heartwarming books I've read in a very long time. And this is going to be one of those cozy rereads I come back to again and again, for sure. Speaking of cozy books, oh my gosh, I am so thankful that my channel members recommended A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana to me. Now, I had read and enjoyed The Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I thought it was decent. I wasn't over the top in love with it, but this one I gave 4.5 stars. I found it to be incredibly compelling. We had some exciting moments, but primarily we're treated to, again, I keep repeating myself, you can tell what I enjoy, a solid, fully fleshed out ensemble cast of characters, all of whom just needed to find the end. Everyone has their own quirks, but they're all incredibly endearing. If you enjoy found family, this is for you. If you enjoy yummy food, tea, cozy little nooks and homes, this is for you. I'm not even that big on witch fiction, quite frankly, but honestly, after reading this, I've been in my mind looking for more. Again, I feel like the romance sort of took a back seat to the heroine and her struggles with magic, but the story does not suffer for it. I wish I could read it again for the first time, and now I'm ravenous for more witch fiction. You don't have to be a Jane Austen fan to enjoy, as I did, The Heart of Bennett Hollow. This is an Appalachian retelling set in the early 1900s. I was first taken with this cover. Let me get out of the way so we can focus. And the fact that it's set in Virginia, this is near and dear to my heart. I was so excited to try this out. I love this time period as well. And let me say, Joanne Bischoff DeWitt does a stellar job adapting Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice into this Appalachian retelling. Now, this is Christian fiction, but regardless of your spirituality or religious identity, I think that you could enjoy this very much. It's very light in terms of references to Christianity. Our heroine is Lisbeth Bennett, whose primary goal in life is to take care of her family and get along as best she can in a coal mining town. We then meet William Drake, who arrives in his very own train car named Pemberley, and he is there to potentially buy the coal mine. He's very well-to-do and very aloof. These two try to figure one another out as he tries to determine whether or not he can go through with the sale of the coal mine and what that will mean for the surrounding town. I felt like I was there. Similar to Autumn Bride, we have characters that are defined primarily by the way they feel responsibility towards the community, towards their families, whether they be found families or the families of their birth. And I just found this to be such an enriching, compelling, beautiful, beautiful read. We're going to be doing a Jane Austen read-along all year long in 2026 as we celebrate her 250th birthday, which is coming up this year in December, the 16th to be exact. If you're looking for a twist on Pride and Prejudice or just want to read a really compelling novel, I can't recommend this highly enough. And speaking again of Pride and Prejudice and Jane Austen and all of that, this is Ladies in Waiting. Now, I'm very thankful to have gotten this copy from Gallery Books, which is an imprint of Simon and Schuster. This is fascinating. I've got well, you can't really tell, but I've got so many notes. Oh, maybe you can see a few lines and things. I enjoyed this immensely. We have 9 powerhouse historical romance authors who have all written bonus epilogues, if you will. These are stories based on the ladies in waiting, the side characters, women who we grew to know and love, and actually some we never met in Jane Austen's novels. Eloisa James, Emily Harding, Audrey Bellezza, Sarah MacLean, Nikki Payne, Eleanor Lippman, Karen Dukas, Diana Quincy, and Adriana Trigiani, all writing their very own versions of stories for our heroines. This is a great way to experience some new authors, like, for example, again, Nikki Payne, who took her characters and moved them from Regency England to New Orleans circa earlier half of the 20th century. Totally fascinating. We even have the Bennets moving to New York City present day. It is so fun. I actually found maybe my most favorite to be Karen Ducas's. I had never even heard of that author before. This is a great way to experience some Jane Austen fun, even if you've not read the novels. I laughed. I literally cried. These women really know what they're doing. I think Jane Austen would be so pleased with this, especially for the novellas that feature characters who were never on the page, but whose lives really impacted the characters of a particular story. For example, the Elizas by Audrey Bellezza and Emily Harding, we never see Eliza Brandon in Sense and Sensibility, and yet her life and her choices made all the difference in Sense and Sensibility. It was so beautiful to see this character, her life envisioned by 2 other authors. Many of these I gave 4 stars, 4.5 stars, even 4 stars, so I wound up giving the novel as a whole a 4.5 stars. If you would like to know my rating story by story, it's on Goodreads. Let's talk about something a little bit different. Hockey romance and Serena Bowen's Thrown for a Loop, which is the brand new book of the new series, New York Legends. I had so much fun with this. I am really looking forward to reading this entire series. I'd never read Serena Bowen on her own. I've read Elle Kennedy by herself, and I mention that because I've read Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy's Him, Us, and Epic, but I have to say, I really, really enjoyed Serena Bowen on her own. I've become so accustomed to sports romances that are either really heavy and dramatic when that's not really what I'm looking for, or you get knocked over the head with the spice, and for me, usually that is not my cup of tea. And then the other thing I've noticed lately in sports romances that I've gravitated to is the language. Many of you remember that I mentioned Red Card had like 348 F words or something like that. So Serena Bowen's Thrown for a Loop was a nice palate cleanser, if you will, for sports romance for me. In terms of sports romance, this is probably my favorite of the year. Now, I did give this 4 stars because I was hoping for a little bit more tension and maybe a little bit more of a climax towards the end with a resolution to the mystery that was happening. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. But for the most part, it was just perfect for me and hitting all the right notes in terms of feeling like I was involved in the sport, like getting a real sense of it, not just hearing, oh, I happen to be a hockey player, by the way. Like, you really feel like you're there. Let me give you a little bit more background on this. This is done in dual timeline. The present day is narrated in first person by our heroine, whereas the other timeline, the past from 9.5 years ago, is in third person, generally told from the perspective of our hero, but also sometimes our heroine. These are happening, every other chapter just about. Our heroine in present day has just begun working as a ice skating coach for a popular NHL team. One of the members of the team happens to be an old flame from 9.5 years ago. They did not part amicably. It did not go well, and we don't know why. Now, the other thing we need to find out is who doesn't like our heroine and why. And I love that extra element of what's really going on behind the scenes here and who may not be who they seem to be. I was thoroughly rooting for these characters, concerned about them, caring about them. I would say by by like 10-20% of the book. I was really gripped from the beginning. I can see why she's a USA Today best-selling author, but I digress. My point is, I'm looking forward to reading more of her hockey romance coming soon. Another book I read and enjoyed in the month of October, A Day Until Forever. I actually read this at Halloween, which was easy to do because I was sick. That's one of the only plus sides of being sick, is you get sometimes, hopefully, to read and relax more than you would if you were feeling well and then you have everything to do. Anyway, I really enjoyed reading this. I gave it 4 stars. I had a similar gripe with it that I did with The Autumn Bride, coming back to The Autumn Bride again, in that there's a love scene sort of tacked onto the end that really didn't need to be there, but it was like, well, people expect spice, so I guess I better put this in. It just didn't seem to fit the characters. This guy is so buttoned up and she is a virgin. It just, for me, I don't know, it just didn't feel authentic. It was like, let's just do this at the end. This is still beautiful. This takes place over 3 different Halloweens. The vast majority is set in just one Halloween. And the other thing that's neat about it is they give you chapters that tell you like what time of day it is as you're going through this day with them, the day that they're falling for one another, which was really fun. He is just with her because he needs a ditch dug and some land that adjoins her property. And so he makes a deal with her father to chaperone her at the fall festival. So we get to see some real fall festival types of cultural elements that relate to present day Halloween. Langston did her research and that was really fun to see. She has her eye on someone else. Eventually, maybe we get a little bit jealous, but it was really neat to see the two of them over the course of the day begin to appreciate and be attracted to each other. It was so fun. Okay, I'm gonna look down as I talk to you about Christmas Corpse, which is Mona Marple. Her name is actually Katie Forrest. This is a Christmas cozy mystery #1. Now, these books have been on Kindle Unlimited for quite some time, so you could read all, I want to say 9 of these. That's why I'm looking down, because there's like a bunch. 8. So there are 8 of them. You could read all 8 today if you wanted to. But I got the audio arc because they're all being slowly rolled out in audio beginning, I guess, last August, actually. By December 23rd, the first 4 will be out in audio. So I'm actually planning on reading Sleigh Bells Ring, A Lost Clause, and Mistletoe Murder certainly by Christmas. I'm really excited. These are short. They're very entertaining. I love the banter between the characters. It was really neat to see our heroine encountering beloved characters like Mrs. Claus and her handsome son, Nick. So we got some romance in there. These are the perfect bite-sized nuggets to enjoy while you are doing all the chores on your way to get ready for the holidays. This is exactly what I want in terms of fun, snappy holiday escapism during a time where I'm going to be overwhelmed and just want to be entertained. You know, I don't want to have to work too hard, and I love the idea of getting something cranked out in an afternoon. I had a great time with this one. Our heroine, she has a car issue. She is rescued by Mrs. Claus. She's up in the North Pole. It's not actually the North Pole. They've moved south because the North Pole is too cold, apparently, but it's basically the North Pole. And our heroine just gets to venture through essentially the North Pole while trying to keep poor Mrs. Claus from being convicted of a crime. I'm looking forward to reading all of these at some point. The only book that didn't really work for me, which I gave 3 stars to on Goodreads, it was rounded up from 2.5. This is The Captain by Christy Caldwell. Now, I've read another book by Christy Caldwell that initially I did not care for the hero, but yet he wound up growing on me. This one, it was really, really hard to do. And our poor heroine has nothing but terrible choices. She's a pawn, essentially, in her cousin's shipping empire. And her cousin has had a falling out with Tremaine, who is our hero. The cousin would prefer our heroine to marry someone else to keep this shipping line intact, if you will. Our heroine is still desperately in love with Tremaine. She's had a crush on him since she was a young girl. She's very naive. She doesn't realize Tremaine is awful. I mean, the first chapter was one of the spiciest, I'm just going to say spiciest, it was very hard to get through. It was not for me. It was, I don't want to say awful, because I don't want to yuck anyone's yum. I love that phrase. But I didn't like it. If I hadn't been reading this as an arc, I would have stopped. But I was like, it'll get better. But It was really hard for it to get better. And I just felt like our poor heroine. You know, she's like, no, you're a great guy. Honey, you don't know what kind of guy this is. You remember him from when he was a kid. He is not that kid. And I just had a hard time feeling the believability of him becoming better. It was just difficult. There was excitement. If you like dark, see, that was the problem. I missed that line in the summary where it was like, it's a dark romance. See, that I think should just tell you everything. You'll probably like this if you like dark romance. I mean, Caldwell's writing is great, but I shouldn't be reading dark things. I shouldn't have requested this. I need to read from now on all the words in the summary and make sure there's no word dark in there because I just can't do it. I don't know if I'm too mature or not mature enough. I think that's probably all I can say about that. So at least knowing me and knowing what I like and don't like, take this with a grain of salt. Well, those were my 10 books. I feel like I read a lot more, but I did not. Let me know what you read in the month of October. Any hits, any misses? Do let us know. Rudy is still exhausted. I'll let you see that cute little face. I know most of you are cat people, by the way. Yeah, I'm a dog person because I'm allergic to cats. Okay, now I'm just rambling. It's time to go. Let me know anything that resonated with you in the comments, or you can just leave me a fall leaf emoji. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're enjoying whatever it is you're reading. Until next time, thanks so much. Take care. Bye.